Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit different. So I'm going to be showing you some clips of a portrait session that I did. We're going to be talking a little bit about fashion photography, skin retouching. Normally I do real estate stuff, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to put my son to work while he was with me and let's record some stuff. So let's dive into this. Yo. Today we're going to be checking out the new features and the new megapixel count on the new Canon R6 Mark II. Let's check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Stephen Tillman here. Today we're going to be looking at some behind the scenes portraits with my model Abby here. We'll be walking you through some steps and then we'll go into the office and get to editing. You could see a little bit in the background right here, a separation of her dark hair and you have a building to the right. So this building to the right is actually way far in the distance, but it was some negative space there. So what I wanted to do was have her dark hair with contrast against a lighter background. And then the building in the background, I wanted it to also create some depth, to be a little blurry. I think I shot this at f4, I believe is what it was. But I wanted the background to be a little creamy, but I didn't want it to be so out of focus that it was just like a weird looking bokeh. You couldn't tell what it was. I wanted there to be some sort of definition. You have the leading lines going up and down, but it's not too distracting. So let's continue. You can see right here, I have the flash. I still have to the top left, I have the buildings behind her, and I have the flash up a little higher, but pointing to where it's kind of at a 45-degree angle. Now the reason you do that is because, especially in this light that we have outside, I didn't need a whole lot of flash. So what I'm doing is, where the direction of the sun is was really hard to tell because it was covered up and completely gone from the clouds being in front of it. But I wanted to just put enough light on her face to where there wasn't any shadows. I wanted it to be very flattering, very soft, which, if you don't know, clouds are just a massive softbox. This is kind of where we get that technology from. We realize that the more translucent things we put between light, the softer it becomes. So I just wanted to put in a little bit of a light on her face. That way, nothing where her hair fell, there wouldn't be any type of shadows. And you can see here, the next one, it'll go click, and it will put a nice little light on her face. And that was a sky replacement with the rainbow. That was not real. So I'm directing her, telling her where to put her hands, because in photography, when you have bends, it creates different depth to the image. You don't want somebody just standing there straight like a board. She came up with this idea about laying down, so I took it. So right here, I took the light down, and I said, hey, just sit on the steps. So I made her knees bend, and I put the light on her. See, it's a very soft, flattering light. I said, okay, now turn hard right. She turned hard right, her left, and then she looked back, and she had a little smile. Let's do it. So we were downtown Tyler, just walking around. This is over where she lives. We were trying to find spaces, and I said, hold on, so what I did on this one, look at the photo. So I wanted this one specifically black and white because there was so what I like to do and what I like to tell my clients to do, this is like a very, very good tip. So you're not walking around or just kind of, well, what do I do now? I tell them to be looking at what they want to look like. So that way I have some sort of game plan before I ever even show up to the job. I know kind of what they want. And then I also present some ideas and this was actually one of my ideas. I present an idea of, what fashion would look like, what what a model would look like, because she's like, I think 20, 21. She's not a model. She doesn't know anything about modeling, but she felt like a model when I showed her these images. And that's what we want to do. That we want to create something that actually inspires that person to come back to us and makes them feel good about themselves. There's no woman alive that if you take a good picture of her and you edit it well, that she will not appreciate what you have done, and she will tell everybody. So I chose to turn this one black and white. I kind of put that light directly over her face. And the reason we do that, if you've ever heard of a beauty dish, they're normally about 24 inches in span, the length, or excuse me, the width. So I wanted that. I didn't want very much shadows. I wanted just a little bit of shadow below her nose right there. So that's what we did. And then it turned out like this. You have the contrast of the lighter, the lighter brick, that brick behind her on that building, it was actually a lighter color. So making her hair darker, and she had that green in her hair, making her hair darker, it's actually adding a better contrast than her regular green hair would, because it kind of fell into the scene. And she really liked that image. So then I said, why don't you go up some steps? So what I do is I like to look for rust or red or some colors that will pop, and then look at what happened. You have these leading lines in the background that go up that are a texture. They're not too blurry in the background, but they're not stealing the show. So I told her just to step up and then put her leg down, because I wasn't going to show her legs, and then just look back at me. So it's kind of a little bit of an attitude in the image, if that makes sense. So I'm really excited about this one. It was a very wider shot, but I put a twilight clouds over it, and it turned out very well. And she liked this wall. It had a lot of colors in it. She thought it would look good with her hair. And so we did a little bit of close-ups. I got her to smile. This is a key thing. Sometimes your talent, now, you don't want them smiling in every image unless it's like a family photo with kids and stuff like that. And the reason for that is because when people smile, their cheekbones get really high, their eyes get really squinty. So you don't want them to smile too much. So the magic time when you make someone laugh, which is good. My sense of humor, or my personality is, humor. So I get them talking, I get kind of interacting and crack a couple of jokes, get them where, and don't be weird, but getting them where they're comfortable, because they're having someone photograph them. And so if you can get them comfortable in whatever element with the flash and the camera in their face, then you can get some pretty amazing images. So what I did here was I made her laugh, and then that right when the big smile and she's showing teeth and it starts to come down, it starts to fade a little bit, get the image. So I have mine set on where it shoots at high speeds. That way I can get the perfect image of when that face, when the bone structure and the high cheeks are coming down and it begins to look natural, but still has a nice smile with it. And I showed her this and she was like, she hates your smile. You have clients all the time that will hate their smile. They'll hate the way they look. Your job is to make them love the way they look in your images. And she loved this image. She's like, oh, that actually looks pretty good. So yeah. So we walked a little bit further trying to find a spot. So we found this building.
Just like you did over there.
I was telling her how to do her hands again. So I'm telling her where to put her hands. Things like that. Getting some dimension behind her with the little glowing of the... Then do the one across and then kind of play with your hair. I wanted to do something really low, get something different.
No, you're okay.
I made her stand on the line, so it kind of leads up to her. And then I put a twilight shot in that one too. And then that one was kind of very edgy, made the background really super dark. Got a little bit of the light in there. So that's kind of behind the scenes of me directing someone of what to do, where to put their hands, and why I chose to take those specific images and when to take those images. So let's dive into my screen and I will show you how I edited those images.